So once again, good morning, dear friends and fans of Agora. Let me welcome you for the 15th time already at the premises of Masaryk University, of the Teresia Center at Agora, which is a conference about the usage of information and communication technologies for people with visual impairments. My name is Radek Pavlíček, and I will guide you through today's morning. I'm very glad we were able to meet here again in person after 2.5 years, but we were not slacking over the last 2 years, and we filled them with a lot of online activities that a lot of you took part in, whether it be tutors, workshop lecturers, or participants. And I'm very happy for the Agora community that I personally see as one of a kind of diamonds, or the valuable thing that we should all appreciate here, and we all should try to build here. So I'm happy that this thing, we were able to sustain this thing even through the COVID period. Greetings not only to those of you who are here with us in person, also to those of you who are watching us online, whether in the Czech stream on Facebook or the English stream on YouTube. Greetings and thanks to our interpreters, Lukáš Hosnedl and Baja Soušková, who make it possible for today's program to be available both to those who speak Czech as well to those who speak English. It wouldn't be possible to organize Agora without the support of partners and other supporters who support us either financially, materially, morally, or in other ways for the success of the collaborative effort. Because those of you who took part in Agora at the very first Agora 7 years ago, that you know that Agora has grown from a couple workshops and a very almost private session has grown into the forum where we all of us meet up here in the plenary session. In the tomorrow there will be the exhibition in our common grounds or in the galleries, and then there will be the workshops that a lot of you registered for, where you'll meet or explore the chosen topics in greater detail, being guided by the experienced lecturers. Thanks to the Deloitte company, who's been our key partner for years already, and who's in it with us for very long. And thus, thanks to the Deloitte company, we were gradually able to transform Agora into the form that it has today. Thanks to the Moneta Money Bank company, which has supported Agora for the first time this year, both for this run as well as the autumn run, which will be online, thanks to the companies Besita, Gallup, Gesit, Emanuela Amici, the Vodafone Foundation Czech Republic, and the Ergones company, which I don't have on my slide because Jirka Hladiš told me the pleasant surprise that he's going to add the event partners this morning, which I thank him for, but I wasn't flexible enough to fix the slide because I've had a lot of other duties on my hands as well. So thanks to everyone who has decided to support Agora and made it possible for us to have it today in the form that we do. Also, thanks to my colleagues, the technicians, Tomáš Bukovský, who's built a kind of a technological nest around him, or I don't know how to call it, but he's sitting here in a benches with a lot of equipment, which we were able to purchase also thanks to the support of the partners, who, those of you who, if you remember the photo where Tomáš is sitting by the radiator and there's nothing around him. That photo shows the progress that we've made thanks to Irka Letocha, Svatya Ondra, Matej Mindaš, who's going to be running around here today with a camera and he's going to document everything. Thanks to Anička Horka, Pepa Konečný, who are my right and left hands, sort of. And of course, the team of amazing volunteers from the Kindrill and Handwell companies and others who have been with us for a couple of years as well. And they're always available and ready and prepared where it's necessary. You might be wondering why I haven't mentioned one partner who has honorable, well-deserved position on this slide next to Deloitte, and that's the Czech Radio Endowment Fund. It's not because I would not like the endowment fund or the Firefly, so-called. On the contrary, but the reason I left Firefly to the end has a practical reason, because among all the guests that I can see here in the audience today, there's also Gabina Drastichová, the director of Firefly. So in this way, let me tell my greetings to Firefly as well and thank them. If I'm not mistaken, they're with us along with Deloitte, as long as Deloitte have been with us. So if I can ask you, Gabina, for a couple of words, I'd be very happy. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are kind of rotating here on this place with the other partners that you could that Radek introduced. So I'm glad this spring round of Agora, where we can meet in person, is my turn. I was watching the online versions as well, and I have to say that even though they were excellent in terms of content and I'm glad to be able to meet you. I'm missing the sound of the white canes when everyone's standing up in the room. There's a lot of rattle in the whole room, and that makes me kind of pleased. So I'm happy we're here again. I'm not actually sorry about the 2 years, because I think a lot has happened during the 2 years, and I'd like to mention two excellent projects which both are being organized by the Teresia Center as our partner. A year ago, we've launched the rental shop for assistive technology for the visually impaired. Over the year, we've had more than 120 rentals. Prague, Brno, Ostrava, the people have been through the entire country. There's like some clients have been 90 years old. So we've really covered a huge spectrum of people. Teresa has helped us not only how to think of the way the rental shop should work, but also to promote us on platforms like Inspo. So that's also important. So I believe we're gonna be able to inspire ourselves as well today here. The other project makes me very pleased again. That's the digital dispatching for digital accessibility, which has this project makes me very pleased. I think in the stalls over there, the interpreters who are sitting there are members of this project. I remember that when we gave them this opportunity, we over in Firefly said, okay, so take a blank sheet of paper and write for us what you would like to, which useful thing you'd like to make for the visually impaired people, how much it's going to cost, how long you're going to need to make it run. And Teresias seized the opportunity, and everyone in Firefly, we were really blown away, so to speak, by how they managed it. And there's actually a dedicated company for accessibility who doesn't have to convince clients, but people can go to them actually to ask for their services, and then just happily see the results and how the project works and how it runs. So thanks, Radek, and the entire team of the dispatching for your work, because I'm glad how it works. And I'm not going to keep you any longer. Let's learn, let's get inspired, and let's discover all the new stuff that the program of the plenary session and of the workshops is going to bring us. So I'm going to look forward to the workshops, and thanks once again, Radek. Also, thanks to you, Gabina, and I'm also pleased to be able to collaborate in this way. And I'm not gonna be lying when I say, because I heard you talking at the run for Svetlushka about 2 weeks ago. If I say that the partnership is no longer just financial or uh, not no longer just financial, but we go to each other if we need a hint, if we need a clue, if we need to ask for help or support, and these things as well. So that's why what makes me pleased as well. We're gonna wait for a while because several more participants have come, so that we don't speak into the noise and let our interpreters have a little bit of a breather as well. I'm gonna fill that moment with some practical information. As you realized or noticed, the very first talk is gonna be in English here. So if someone doesn't understand English and you'd like to keep listening, keep watching, you need the device for that to listen to it. And if you don't have it yet, you can still get it in the front at my colleague Jirka. So if you need the receiver for the translations, let's raise your hand. Jirka, if I can ask you. There is there's another colleague of his who distributes it as well. We have, of course, everywhere on the premises there's free Wi-Fi for you. So if you need to connect to the internet, you can make use of the Muni guests network. If memory serves, it's in plural with an S in at the end, and the password is also Muni guests, and all of you have received this information in the email that I sent out last night. It's also as well at the website of Agora, where you can find all this information for participants on a single page in a comprehensive and structured form. So the distribution of devices is about to be finished, which is nice, and the new arrivals have also been seated. So I think we can move on in our program. Thanks to Gabina once again, and as has become tradition with us. The last of the introductions belongs to our landlord, so to speak. So let me invite Petr Peňas, the director of the Teresia Center, to come up here into the lights, into the stage. But he doesn't have any slippers. You know, it's like the landlord is supposed to wear slippers, and he does not. So I'm not sure what's up, but that changes nothing about the fact that he is our landlord, and he'd like to pass his greetings to all of you as well. Thanks for the mic, which I never learned to speak into. So I'm sorry if it's not as professional in my case as it was with my with the previous speakers. I can't walk in slippers anyway either. So well, I can either barefoot or all dressed so that I can run along the street. But for me, this tension that I've been experiencing these days, the tension is about first, I wasn't sure how Agora is going to be after COVID is over. If Agora ends up like Masaryk University, where it's not that easy to lure back students who got used to events being online, and they don't exactly know, why they should even come back in person in the first place. And the reason is probably the fact that the attractivity of what Masaryk University offers cannot is no competition, no match for what Agora offers, which makes me pleased, of course, because it really seems like Agora is the fact that Agora is available online doesn't change anything about the fact that as soon as there's the opportunity to meet in person, a lot of people do make use of this opportunity. And just like the others said, I'm also glad that it's like that, and that I'm able to be here with all of you. Another kind of dramatic moment for me is moving from event to event, because yesterday in these premises another relatively large event was finishing, it was a we were offering this to colleagues from Nepal and Sri Lanka and other countries that are interested in these topics. We were thinking of connecting these events in some way, but various circumstances caused one group of these colleagues arriving and the other group leaving, so we were not able to connect it. But besides the fact that Agora is here and could help others, could be useful to other parts of the world where the technologies do not work as well as they could yet, or the potential is not being met as much. So when the colleagues were leaving, and I was explaining to them how roller scooters work, because they could, use a kind of vehicle without fuel. So we are kind of in a dramatic moment where a lot is going on in the world, and more of that is negative rather than positive. And what the future brings, unfortunately, no one knows. The Theresia Center is trying to organize these events and meetings, is trying to keep their services running for both, to provide their services to both blind and hearing impaired or deaf Ukrainians who are in Brno, of course, and more of them are appearing, and it's not always simple. And I would like to ask these of you who are here to think even of this aspect of the matter, because besides the fact that the person does not see or hear their work, there's another complication that the person is not even able to talk in their native language. So we're in a situation where we can't even imagine what might be coming up next in the following months and years. But I do believe that the force of the community that we managed to come up with here is going to be large enough to stand its ground even in the difficult situation that's ahead of us. So let's keep our fingers crossed for ourselves to manage everything, and for everything that works so nicely here today that we met here, to keep working even in the future. And besides all these thanks and introductions that have already been voiced, let me especially pass my thanks to the one who keeps pulling the whole event all the time with incredible energy and puts his life and spirit into it. And it's Radek Pavlíček. Thank you so much. Thanks for the nice words and for the introduction, Petr. And I do believe that's really it for the introductions or the introductory part. And let's get started with the program itself. As you had already had the option to find out, then we had eight talks prepared for you today, which cover various aspects of how it's possible today to make technologies accessible, or using technologies make accessible everyday life matters. And since we've already touched on the good traditions that all of us here are trying to keep, then let me add to that we're not straying from that in any way, because in the last years you were used to the introductory talk being held by a guest from abroad, whether it be colleagues from the Netherlands, Denmark, Canada was last year, and other countries. And not even this year's Agora is going to be an exception. And this time we're not going to head west, but we're going to head east into the magical and beautiful Romania. We're gonna head across the mountain ridges in the opposite direction, and we're gonna get back to Romania. And I'd like to welcome not just to Masaryk University, but also to Brno and to the Czech Republic. I'd like to welcome Dan Batzelt, who's going to have the first talk or the first speech of this year's Spring Agora. I have to help myself here a little bit because I didn't remember all the information. Dan is as the same age as I am, and he's graduated from the Faculty of Film. He used to work as the main cameraman, and in 2007 he founded the Urban Development Association, and since 2010 he's been organizing advocacy projects for the blind and visually impaired. In 2020 he launched the e-learning platform Tactile Images, which offers the blind and visually impaired children all over the world to discover the world independently using assistive technologies. And as Petr and Gambina said, and well, myself included even, we've all mentioned the COVID period. Then Dan has come here actually thanks to COVID, because in 2020, if memory serves, the VIA Association, along with the Microsoft, they organized an AI accessibility hackathon. Dan was taking part in that hackathon, and I was sort of a mentor and consultant. And because that project, because I liked the project, and Dan was able to or willing to come, then one thing led to another, and today you have the option to explore the thing that 2 years ago was only available to discuss online. Today you have the option to not only to you have the option to get to know it via Dan's talk, and then later in the afternoon via the workshops. If someone is still interested and not registered, let us know. We should be able to sort it out in some way. So thanks. Welcome to Dan once again, and I give you the floor.
Thank you, Radek. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. So, I'm very embarrassed, but it's a good start. It's the first step. And because I prefer to be coherent in my speech, I will look at my notes, my speaking notes. So, I'm glad to be here and to participate to this event, because I know how important it is for information to travel physically, not just virtually. And glad to see that you are here to see what we were working on. Because the problem we have identified in the education of the blind, it's that their education is dependent on a specialized person, a specialized material, and a specialized location. Moreover, in extreme cases such as COVID, such as limitation of mobility, education cannot be carried out with the same level of quality. In America, there have even been cases where children have sued the school because they demanded a refund because they were no longer have physical access to the material base. So we all know that this gathering of materials, specialized personnel in one place, it's made from financial reasons. And financial reasons means that everything is expensive. The materials, the devices, everything is kind of inaccessible. And what I am telling you, and I'm honored to be here today, it's because we're working on a project that was not related with COVID, with remote teaching because in our country we have our own problems. Meaning that the COVID was just a kick in the ass that propelled us in front, because we as an NGO in Romania, we are fighting with the physical access to school of 60% of the visually impaired children in Romania. Yes, because Romania is somehow a rounded shape, and the specialized schools are around the edges, not the edges, around the contour. And in the middle, there are no schools. And because special education involves sending children to a boarding school from 3 or 4 years old, or relocating the whole family, and because until 5 years ago in Romania there was a law that if you send the child to the school, then you lost the special pension. And somehow the parents prefer to hold the kids home, not sending them to school. This is changed right now, but the problem exists. So, one of the good things that COVID, the pandemic, did in our society, I believe, is that it accelerated the digitalization of the education. Meaning that the teacher, the parents, and the child, they were forced to interact and to use digitalization. And this is where we come in. Tactile Images Reader, the mobile app, the virtual assistant that tells you what you have under your finger when exploring the graphic, is here. And I invite you today to explore it and to play with it, because the system finally allows increasing the speed and spectrum of learning through the availability of educational resources at the student need, at the student time. I mean, it's an assistant that replicates the teacher effort at home or at the classroom. A mobile app that behaves like the teacher over the shoulder, the specialist in the classroom, guiding the child hand on a personalized, adapted material to his needs, thus allowing the student to learn parallel in the classroom, or to learn parallel in an inclusive class, or to learn at home, or to learn anywhere he wants, because now he has unlimited access to spatial information, to graphic information. I want to tell you another reason that we did this project, Tactile Images. Is the first one, it's the thing that half of the children in Romania do not have access to education because they are outside the schools. And another motivation of ours is that we are an NGO. We're not a company that does something technical and it's thinking about doing something for the blind. No, our primary motivation is access to information, easy access to information and quality education anywhere, not only in specialized schools. And because we are an NGO, we fight for equal opportunities in education, equal resources and independence. And moreover, we try to fulfill all of these objectives in one platform, which is tactileimages.org, where you can find solutions and responses to maybe a lot of the needs that special education faces. We are a free online platform where anyone can come and create interactive drawings. That is spatial information, tactile graphics that self-describe, meaning that we get rid of the braille limitation of annotation. We can put on a tactile graph as many information as we want, as it's needed. And more, it's personalized. This is our mission. And when I say that, and I invited you to come and create, it's because we are very proud that tactileimages.org, the website, the e-learning platform, was visited from 150 countries. Yes, I'm waiting for a round of applause because I'm so proud. Thank you very much. It was a joke. But no, I'm really proud because the independent study of tactile graphics, it's a global problem. And maybe that's why literally 150 visitors come, not visitor. I don't know how to say, 150 countries come and visit the platform because it's a universal problem. And what we are doing, graphics, it's also a universal language. And now we have in our platform, which is an e-learning platform, 1,500 drawings, a specialized drawing software that make it easy to create tactile graphics, an editor where you can customize the drawing and personalize for the child's need, for the adult need, where you can add interactive areas, where we can add description. We have also the MAPI, the making software, where they are our friends. And we also have a software that makes automatically transforms automatically the drawings into a 3D printer file, because now we're working on another problem, we're tackling another problem, the cost of tactile print. In my country, I don't know if it's a true affirmation in your country, but in my country, teachers don't use tactile information, don't use spatial information, yes, because it's expensive, and they prefer to use the text or vocal information. And you cannot teach STEM material, math, physics, geography, history, just chemistry, just to voice. And that's why now we're working on a wood glue printer that it's producing 20 times cheaper the embossed graphics. That is 20 times more graphics for a parent to make or for a teacher to make, which is, I think it's very important. When we, 12 years, when we gone to our school, in the laboratory, image laboratory, the teacher there had 150 tactile drawings. Now she has 1,500 pictures to teach their child. And to do this, sorry, I had to look through my notes again. To do this, to do the finger tracking, to make the paper, the tactile graphic work, we use the latest technology. We use interactive augmented reality to add a layer of information and explanation on demand on any physical object, meaning that it's a tactile graphic or it's a tactile map, like the one you have on the, I don't know, subway, or a physical tactile map, or a toy. Because the mobile app follows your finger and describes what it is underneath. It doesn't recognize the object. It gives you detailed explanation of what it is made the object of. And this is the detailed explanation. It's given by an expert, by the teacher. So any kind of objects can become an educational material. Now we're working with the psychopedagogy faculty in Bucharest to develop materials for other children with learning disabilities. Because what we do, it's embossed materials, simplified graphics, tactile materials that speak with the children, with children. It's interactive. And it's an innovative method of learning, a multisensory method of learning, and it's helpful in other disabilities, like other learning disabilities like autism. And that is because multisensory information settles better in the mind of the learner. And now, with your permission, I will speak about the future, because we are not really perfect, as I described it before. Our work is one of research to find the best possible solution for individual study. And after 10 years of work, and after donation and sponsorship, we are in the stage where we have a minimum viable product, to say that. We have shown that it's possible that a phone can replicate the teacher's effort and can help any child from a distance when exploring an embossed graphic. Anyone can create multisensory educational materials and talking graphics at this time. Now in the platform are 300 specialists from many countries around the world trying this new way of teaching remotely. In the moment, the mobile app, the virtual assistant, it's only on iOS because it's more expensive and harder to develop on Android. For that, we have a fundraising campaign ongoing, and if you're interested, you can find more on tactileimages.org. The platform already works in 8 languages, to my shame, not in yours, but it works in Turkish and in Finnish and all other large spoken language, I don't know how to say that. And over 400 graphics have a description in English, and more than 800 had audio description for those who uses Android. Because on the upper left of the drawing, there is a QR code that for Android users goes them to our website, which is like a small Wikipedia. So in our endeavor to allow blind students to learn by themselves, we started creating like a graphic small Wikipedia. And now, if there are any questions, if not in the public, okay, I will show you how it works. And I don't know how to do it, Radek, maybe I need some help, or I will just, can you hear me? I will speak louder because I need both hands. Because when you do, now it's enabled? Okay. Yeah. Because, as you know, when you explore a tactile graphic, you have to use a stereoscopic sensor. You have to use both your hands to get to grasp concepts like narrow, thick, upper, down. I don't know how to say it. So, if I have a simple drawing with an atom, which is a rounded graph with a lot of I don't know how to say, circles around it. It's like an onion, if I can say that. You should use your both hands and explore it. And when you want to know more about one thing, you go raise your phone on top of the page. Of course, you have to open the voice, the volume. And if you open and of course it's a demo, and of course it works. It works at my home, it works at my house, it works in my school, it works everywhere. But not here. The fact that I'll try another one. I have the internet.
Image loaded electrical network.
So it tells you the name of the picture, yes? And we have on the same picture, we have more active zones. One, it's the title, which is in Braille.
This is the description of the image title. Electrical network image description. The image shows the simplified diagram of any electrical circuit.
And we have the QR code.
This is the QR code that
where
links
we
to
put
further information about the electrical
all the information
network.
you need. So it's how to describe it. So we make on a physical object some buttons, you know, some help buttons or more info buttons. We have some zones on the graph that you can have more information. And if you want to find an information about a specific object, you just point the, I don't know if I'm clear, but you just point the finger to a specific zone and the graphic will talk to you. Why I'm showing you this and telling you this, it's because it can help in grasping the environment around you. You can make your own maps, your own apartment map if you need, your neighborhood map if you need. When you go to school, you can create customized maps and you can annotate these maps for your needs. And this is very easy, it's doable, and it's doable right now because the e-learning platform is online. And another thing that I wanted to tell you about, and this is the last thing I'm boring you with, hope not, it was just another joke. I hope some people will laugh. If it's not voluntarily, then forced, please.
No internet connection.
Yes, thank you very much.
No internet connection.
Yes, thank you, I remembered. As I tell you about in the beginning, we're tackling the expenses that this tactile graphic is. I don't know how to pronounce it. And that's why I invite you at Sunday, I think, at a workshop that I will show you what we do with wood glue, with the glue that you fix your chair and your furniture, that if you use one oil bottle, it's called, the technician use this kind of this kind of plastic bottle to draw a thin line of PVA glue of something, a material or acrylic material. In my country, this kind of paper, it's like €5 if it's printed, and of course I forgot mine up there. The acrylic paint, the acrylic paper, the acrylic tactile graph, it's like €0.05 a graph. And this is what we're telling people, hey, start, I know it's better and it's more quality and it's colorful, but it's important for a blind to create proportion, forms of the objects, and so with many, many objects to create concepts. So we don't speak the same language, we don't only speak the same language, but we will speak about the same objects. And this is my talk, and I'm thankfully for your attention. And just not to leave empty-handed, I also have a workshop today where I invite you to see our catalogs, our embossed images, and to learn how to explore it with an iPhone, with a smartphone, and tomorrow at the drawing workshop. Thank you very much.
Děkuji vám moc. And I would like to thank Dan for the intro and for introducing his workshops. As both of us have already mentioned, if there's one of you who got interested in this topic and is not registered for dance workshop and would like to be, then please get in touch with me or write to me or let me know in some way, and we'll certainly be able to sort it out in some way. The next presenter in this intro block, which is dedicated to using tactile graphics and 3D printing and etc., is a person that doesn't need to be introduced a lot. The second presenter is Petr Dušek, who has prepared a contribution with
Yeah. So So our next lecturer is Peter, who has his stalls downstairs. You can see or touch some of his 3D models, for example, Thief or other different educational sets. This is just a little short invitation. Now I would like to invite Peter here to give his presentation. So a little technical pause. Now I give the mic to Peter. So please keep in time. Thank you, Radek. I think you already said a quarter of my presentation to the topic of the thief. I will scan your teeth and will try to 3D print it. I think there are already the possibilities. So yeah, we could try it. So thank you for the introduction. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start with the fact why our activities that are called Nesmírné in Czech, but space, which means space in Czech, but we chose the name Nesmír because the word Vesmír in space in Czech was already not available. Why Nesmír? Because ne als nevidomý or blind in Czech, but we really don't know other reasons. It's just our working name that we like to use. But Nesmír we use as a shortcut for the group for Czech astronomy group for barrier-free astronomy and cosmonautics. We focus on astronomy and cosmonautics for people who are interested in space and astronomy. We were grounded in the 17th century. Now we have a lot of members, astronomy enthusiasts, people who are experts from different scientific workstations, and in general, in the Czech Republic, there are a lot of observation or centers that are focused in astronomy. And I think when somebody is really enthusiastic about this topic and can really find a lot of interest, it's really popular. Mm. In past years, the Society for People who have some disabilities is working around some time. I don't know how long actually. Probably since the year 2000. And it's now we primarily focus on astronomy for the visually impaired people, but we can also but now we also can focus on the hearing impaired people. We have astronomy section, sun section, star section, and different other Czech organizations. But yes, we focus especially on the popular astronomy, not the scientific one. So to our activities, some of you have maybe already participated in some activities. Astronomy is my long life hobby, so I like to talk about astronomy on every step. Every time when I have some presentation, I like to talk about astronomy. For example, in combined with 3D printing. So now when we have a stall in Agora, you won't find there just teeth, but also some planets, some other astronomical objects, starships, and so on. So I like to get closer to astronomy also through teeth. So about our topics of interest, they are so our first activity is the making accessible of astronomy to visually impaired. Other activity is about our members or our group for barrier-free astronomy in general. I'm not sure how many members we have in our society. Another point we focus on the education in the topics of astronomy, and we also organize different activities for people with different handicaps, mainly for the visually impaired people. There are a lot of activities. I would like to point out some of them. I'm not sure if I can mention all of them right now. But Yes, they were held already before the group was grounded, but all of them or most of them are held in collaboration with Theresia Center and with Radek Seifert. And so I have to thank Radek Pavlíček and Agora, and Czech Endowment Fund Světluška, and a lot of other people. So let's talking about some specific activities. We created with Milan Halousek, Petr Sobotka, and Petr Dušek the educational set about Yuri Gagarin. We also work in the observatory, and we organize some activities with Honza Šmirich. We realized that it's important for people with visual impairment to get access to some program in observation and planetariums, because myself, I have problems sometimes with getting around in these buildings. I think it's a difficult topic to make the programs accessible. And then we organized some other activities for the visually impaired, for example, workshops, especially in 3D printing, where we create different astronomy, cosmonautics objects. There is already a lot of models, for example, of the solar system that you can download, or the models of different rockets from SpaceX, Crew Dragon, and so on, that you can download and 3D print yourself. You can then touch it and feel the shapes or the craters on the moon. I can't do it myself. I tried to do it, but I already have around 13 3D printers, and even when they go at the same time, I can't simply do it because there is a lot of interest from the side of visually impaired. I was printing night and day, and this is why all the things that don't look really nice as well as me. That's why we can't do it anymore in such big numbers, but now I rather focus on for example, the educational sets that you can see in our stall, the exhibition section. Another point, I think it's worth mentioning that in technology we managed to organize or to introduce the astronomical photo of the day that we 3D printed. It's an activity based from NASA, Yeah, it won't be with CZ. I don't know the whole address, but we take over these photos, and my software is able to transform the photo in really in some tactile form and print it afterwards. Yeah, there is a lot of work with it. We have to do it actually for free as our hobby. We often give our own money to it, so it's difficult to really focus on everything and to bring it to the end. But now I will move to another point. When I started with the problematics, we introduced tactile models in the observation where children could touch a map of the stars. And when I returned back to this topic, I think it was around 10 or 5 years ago. So yeah, maybe 8 or 7.5. I told to myself that I would like to get back to this topic. I was working with 3D printers then. When I started, this wasn't available, but now I realized it is. So I started to print. It consisted of thousands of parts. After some times, I finally managed to do it. Yesterday it was a year since I first took a picture of this whole thing, of this whole sculpture. But after I took the photo, there was a man with a moving machine moving the lawn, and he slipped and destroyed the whole sculpture. So yeah, the whole work was destroyed, but anyway, I think it's worth mentioning that one of the newer topics that we focus in now is the topic is the topic astronomy and handicapped. It's a topic that is getting quite popular. A lot of organizations is working with it. We started to collaborate with the Czech Astronomical Union. I hope there will be some outcome of this collaboration. I think we will move forwards and let's say I think that nowadays, when you come to planetarium or to observation, and you say that you have a handicap, my experience is that even though the center, the planetarium is already prepared, it's kind of unsure. You still feel a lot of insecureness when it comes to handling the topic of disability. But I hope that in the future it will get better. And it's I think it's sometimes hard to collaborate with some people from the community. Everyone rather likes to work on their own things rather than collaborate. But also from the collaboration with Astronomical Union will be the outcome that after you come to a planetarium, you will be provided an accessible experience. Radek is already reminding me that 5 minutes is already gone, because I have more slides here to say. So the last slide, to summarize, as I said, in the Czech Republic, we are able to offer to people with visual impaired people or the observation in Hradec Králové, the observation here in Brno, where we already had one event, is able to provide events for the visually impaired. I hope that in the future we will organize again some of the events, maybe in collaboration with the Agora. The last time it was very popular. Now we organize online events, for example, with Tomáš Přibyl or Milan Halousek. And it happens that there could be one person or even 60 people, so it really depends. For example, on the term when the event is held, when there is one person, we of course like to speak to this person. When there is 60 people, we are a little bit afraid. But to conclude, I would like to end. So if you are interested, you can come to my stall and see there the educational sets. For example, this one about Gagarin. I would like to say thank you to Tomáš Přibyl, Radek Pavlíček, Radek Seifert, and other subjects. I also would like to thank myself, so feel free to come and ask questions. Yes. So you don't have to thank yourself. I would like to thank you for your presentation and for all you do. As already said, Peter will be downstairs. He has there 3 tables with different printers, 3D models, and so on. In Peter's presentation, the word atelier was mentioned. Some of you maybe know what is Atelion and what are mataki, or the tactile leaflets, which is the topic of the next contribution. Mataki, the new way to tactile graphics and braille, will be presented by Bertlova. So you are free to come. So hello, I'm happy that we can meet in person. I came to the topic of assistive technology only a short time ago, and this is my first time here. Jmenuji se Bára Bertlova, and now today I will talk about the Atelier Center. So yes, we can start. Atelier, or Atelier, the Atelier of Assistive Technology by CUT, is a relatively new workshop in CTU, which is not only focused on the visually impaired, but also on the broader public of people who focus on the topic of visual impairment. So we organize different workshops for public. Unfortunately, in this situation, it wasn't really possible. I wanted to say that currently the situation wasn't really good, so we will start with our activities in the future. But what we managed to do is are the Mataki tactical leaflets. The goal of Mataki is to present tactile graphics to broader public. It's you can see or touch the Mataks also in our soul, but I will talk about it later. The whole idea came from Petr Červenka, who is responsible for the technical part, and Radek Seifert with our testers, who are responsible for the testing and reviewing of the tactile. And afterwards, the next group is you. So we have 4 or 5 leaflets. The Czech Republic, Slovak Republic, Greek alphabet, and the map of Ukraine. In every leaflet you will find the contact information. So the first Matak. You can see there the Czech regions with also the where there's tactile graphic and braille descriptions. The second leaflet of Slovakia and its regions is quite similar to the first one. Here you can see the map. The third Matak, the plan of Prague's subway. Yeah, in the future, we would like to focus not only on in Prague, but also other parts of Czech Republic. You can find there the stations and different lines. You can see there also interesting places in Prague or the Vltava River. Except for this, there are free papers in addition, where you see the list of stations and so on. The fourth one is dedicated to the Greek alphabet, where you also see the tactile form of the letters and some, and you can see there also a guideline how to work with the alphabet and some interesting facts about the alphabet. The fourth one is dedicated to Ukraine. The current topic, you can see there the biggest cities and neighboring countries to Ukraine. And on the text paper, you can see the shortcuts. Yeah, we will move to the price of Matax. We distribute them for free. We have already sent 183. The price of one Matax, of the first one, was 15 crowns, but the other one with the subway was already much more expensive. So in the future, we will probably move to the solution to that the people interested will have to pay. So the next issue will be probably the last one that is free. You can find us also in the exhibition section next to Nesmir. You can directly order the Matax there. We just need your name, address, and other information. We will register only one Matax to one person. We will also have a workshop on Saturday. That will be held by Radek Seifert. Except for Agora, you can see Matax in different organizations. The list will be presented in our website in the future. These are different sons, outposts, or other organizations. How you can order Matax? The easiest way is now to order it at our stall when you are not in Brno. You can use the form in our website www.elza.eu. And you can also write us to our email. You can also see in the presentation. We are located in Trojnova 13 in Prague. The phone is in the presentation, and the email is atelier@cvut.elza.cz. And our website is Atelion asistívních technologií. .cz. In the future, we also plan different workshops and seminars. Where we, for example, visit the region itself to which the Hmaták is dedicated. And to conclude, I would like to thank you for your attention and hope to see you next time. I also thank you, and with the contribution of Bara, we would like to end the activities and the presentation dedicated to tactile things. In the next part, we will focus on assistive technology. We will have presentations by 3 different companies. First presenter won't be able to be with us in person, but he sent us a video. It's Milan Pešák from Spectra, the innovated knihomol, new tutorials and news from Spectra. So we wish Milan to get better, and please play the contribution now.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm especially glad to be able to call many of you friends. My sincere greetings to all of you from the Spectra company, which has been developing, localizing and providing assistive technology for 33 years, and all the while employing disabled people, especially ones with visual impairments. Today I would especially like to tell you about several new features that we've implemented into the Bookworm program. I'll emphasize that Bookworm is here to enable people with visual impairments to read magazines and books from special libraries for the visually impaired. It's unique in the way that it enables reading both books and magazines saved as digital text as well as audio files. The new feature that I'd like to present to you is found with the books that are stored as digital text, digitized text. I have the Bookworm open here on my screen, and to reach the book where I'm going to show the new feature to you, I'll choose the first option that Bookworm offers to me to do that. Text-to-speech reads books 1 of 3 by name, The Man with the Heart of a Cowboy, short stories, classical, the KTN library, check. I'll down arrow to the next title, TTS, short stories, Božena Němcová, classical, rural, KDD, check. And that's the book that I want to open and read. I'll open it with enter, and Bookworm will start reading it.
Název povídky. Autor Božena Němcová. Nakladatelství
I can, of course, move around in the text using the common keystrokes for text editing with the arrow keys, page up, page down, etc. But I'd like to know which short stories exactly are included in the book. Because the individual short stories are marked as chapters, I can press the F2 key, which I will do, and a chapter list pops up. I can move around in that using the arrow keys. And if I press enter, I'll open that given chapter. I've opened the chapter in the castle and nearby with enter, and just like it's common practice in Bookworm, I can start the say all or fluent reading with F12. I believe that skipping or moving by chapters is another step to make reading in Bookworm even more comfortable and comprehensive. Also, the Zora magazines are being split into chapters these days, which is a Czech magazine for the visually impaired, and you can move around the individual articles this way. For me to be able to show you the new features for magazines, I have to choose the corresponding options from the Bookworm menu. So, magazines here. Yes, the news concern the Zora magazine, so I'm just going to open it. I'll choose the year, alright. It's offering me the 2022 year. I don't have any ancient articles here. I'll open the 7th issue of Zora. TCS, Zora, the magazine for the visually impaired, and Bookworm would start reading it from the beginning, but I want to know which articles are in this issue of Zora. So I'll press the F2 key, and I can scroll among the chapters with the arrow keys. Alright, I'm gonna open the article about the guide dogs with enter. And I can start reading it.
Na poslední dubnový týden připravuje klub držitelů vodicích psů SONS Česká republika zajímavou akci u příležitosti Mezinárodního dne vodicích psů.
And because the end of April is already gone by, I'm not going to continue reading this article, but I'll say that the possibility to skip by articles in magazines, just like it's possible to do by chapters in books, is another way of making Bookworm even easier and more comfortable to use. So that's about Bookworm. Next, I would like to reiterate that Spectra, besides computers, is also involved in camera magnifiers, and the kind of a transition between camera magnifiers and a computer is the situation where the camera magnifier is connected to the computer via USB. I like to emphasize that the video program which Spectra provides makes it possible to use the camera magnifier along with the computer. You can easily switch between the stream or the view from the magnifier and, for example, a word window or some notes that you took from what the magnifier displayed. Now I'd like to direct your attention, so to speak, to the new website www.spectra.eu /výuka/tutorials, which we created not only for end users but also for teachers at schools where a visually impaired child studies, or for assistive technology tutors in the Tiflo centers in the Czech Blind Union and other organizations, etc. Today on this website there's a Zoom text tutorial for beginner users of this software. There's also tips and tricks for Zoom text, where there are short texts talking about less known Zoom text features. And with this piece of information, I'm going to say my goodbyes. I'm very happy I was able to take part in Agora, at least in this way, even though I would have been much happier to join you in Brno in person and meet all of you. Be well, stay healthy, and enjoy life, and enjoy meeting people that you haven't seen for a long time, perhaps.
I se setkání s lidmi, které jste třeba dlouho neviděli. Mějte se fajn.
Tak já moc děkuji Milanovi a zdravím ho, pokud se na nás dívá aspoň na živé vysílání, které...
I'd like to thank Milan, and I would like to give him my greetings if he's still watching us. Thanks to our wonderful technical team. The videos, of course, going to be available even later on as a recording. I'd like to invite the next lecturer, who's Marek Suschik from the ACE Design Company. I believe it's not necessary to introduce him very much either. I believe Marek is going to be as efficient and timely considerate as Milan. One of the advantages of the online world was that everyone stuck to the given time because they had to pre-record the talk, and there in the online form it was immediately noticeable how long the video was. So I'd like to ask also Marek to stick to the assigned time and I'd like to ask him to introduce to us the new information, to give us the information about the news in the OCO add-on for NVDA, or I add-on, because the Czech OCO is the shortcut to means Czech OCO means I. Good morning. I'd like to thank Radek Pavlíček and all the organizers of Agora for the option to present here, or for the invitation to present here. I'd like to bring you the news that the I add-on for NVDA is bringing. We're developing this plugin in ACE Design. And to start off, I'd like to just briefly remind or reiterate what the I add-on is already offering you. It associates characteristic sounds to the system controls, to the operating system controls. So if you focus a button, you hear a click, and you can quickly tell this way that you've just reached a button. Next, it supplements informational features that NVDA by itself does not have right now. For instance, with a single keystroke, you'll get to know all about where you are currently are. So the active control, the window, or the position in the text, and so on. Another keystroke will repeat the last spoken utterance or sentence. Another one enables you to cycle through the last 50 spoken utterances, and so on. Besides that, it brings enhancements to third-party apps like Word or Total Commander. But I'd like to what I'd like to focus on here are the expansion modules that the I add-on offers. Their main goal is to simplify or speed up obtaining various information, and their benefit is the availability with a single shortcut anytime during your work. The web sources extension lets you quickly look up an address or a zip code or a phone number. The Zodiac extension lets you check out the zodiac signs, and new extensions have been added. I would probably describe these with a single word. It's not just work that feeds the person. The first extension are internet media. As you can tell from the name, this will enable you to listen to internet radio or online radio stations. They're split into categories such as spoken word or music, etc. You can set the volume of the radio independent to all the other volumes, so you can fine tune it so that it's not too quiet or too loud compared to the synthesis. A special keystroke is dedicated to start or stop the playback of the last used station. So anytime you want, you can just play the radio with a single keystroke or just turn it off again. The station database is loaded from our server, which has the advantage of us being able to fix or add the station, and you'll immediately notice the change. Another extension that the I add-on offers is the program for radio and TV stations, or the schedule for radio and TV stations. You can view the list of the stations, of TV and radio stations. You can just choose a channel, or potentially also the date, and then you see the list of the programs on the schedule. The programs in the Czech television channels, these programs that have been audio described are denoted or marked with an asterisk. When pressing enter, you'll see information about the program that you're just focusing, and in case of the Czech television, it shows you more details such as the program length, the audio format or the visual format or the genre, the availability of the program in the online streaming service of the Czech TV, and etc. You can let I announce all of this at once by pressing F2 at any time. Whenever you press Control Space or Control Backspace, you see the list of programs for the next or previous day. And again, in this extension, the database is loaded from our database of stations, so we can very flexibly react to the changes in the offering or in the database of the stations, and they appear immediately and you don't have to do anything on your part. And the third extension I'd like to introduce are libraries, or is libraries. This extension of the I add-on allows you to easily access the libraries for the visually impaired, browsing their catalogs, downloading the issues or the books, and reading those downloaded files. Currently, those libraries are supported. The KDD, so the Library of Digital Documents, Matilda, and just like other extensions, you can, even this one can be run anytime during your work with a keystroke. You enter your login credentials for the library only once. It'll remember them, so you don't have to enter them any further from then on. And after launching this extension, you can browse the catalog. So For instance, in the case of KDD, the digital documents library, you can open up the books category. Or here you can choose fictional, then children's books and fairy tales, and there you are, right up with the list of all the children's books that you can read to your offsprings. After clicking on the title, you will see the what to do menu, and from here you can choose whether you want to download it or just view the information about that book, or have displayed other books by the same author if you like this one. And in case of the KDD, of the digital library digital document library, you can display the books from all the books from the same series. So in the case of the popular wizard Harry Potter, for instance, you can look up one book and then you have the entire series displayed, and you'll have all the books about Harry Potter numbered sequentially so that you can read them in the right order. You can also add the book into your bookmarks and download it sometimes later, perhaps. Another special keystroke announces the book summary anytime, so it tells you what it's about. In the case of KDD, you can also take a look into magazines, and here there are displayed magazines that have received a new issue over the last 2 years. The other ones are automatically sorted into the archive so that they don't take up the space at the top. Of course, you can search the libraries or filter the libraries by various parameters, and the results are always displayed so that you can always see which library that given result is coming from. All your downloaded books are stored in your library, and to run that section, the downloaded section, there's a special keystroke as well, so you can access it anytime. Here you can read these books as well as the magazines. When reading them, you'll see the list of all the articles. You choose which one you want to read, and when reading, for example, from the Matilda library, the audio described movies, they come up in a special audio player where that medium is played as an audio file. In the player, you can also always retrieve the last played position, and you can always also see the percentage of how much of that medium you've already read or listened to. For the future, we plan both to keep improving the current extensions as well as adding new ones. To conclude, I'd like to re-emphasize that NVDA, together with the I for NVDA add-on, and together with the assistant suite, and with along with customer support, is being offered as OCO 3 or the i3, which can be purchased separately, either purchased separately or as part of entire builds or assistive computer builds that you can buy. The add-on itself is provided without any customer support, but for free at www.acedesign.cz. Thanks for your attention, and I wish you all a nice weekend here at Agora. So thanks, Marek, for introducing Oko, or the I, as well as for him wishing all of us to have a nice experience at Agora, and I believe he enjoys it along with us, and we are gradually getting to the final part of the second block of our plenary session, as well as the final part of this section about news from assistive technology vendors. And the one who's going to conclude this section is Daniel Jungmann from the Gallup company. Gallup also have their stall here. You've already heard that down there in the large gallery. So if you want to learn more later, then you feel free to pay a visit to the Jungmann boys.
Good morning. Today I would like to introduce you shortly the history of magnifiers called Ruby from the society Freedom Scientific. A long times ago, at the time where phones could fit in the pocket, when there was no Instagram or TikTok in 2009, the first magnifier from the Ruby session has appeared. It has a large construction, easy easy keys, but also some pretty handsome functions. In 2010, the new iPhone 3GS and was the new model of Ruby was introduced. It had a compact body and in 2013 Microsoft bought Nokia. Bitcoin was experiencing development. The magnifier was given some new add-ons. It was the display got bigger and it was in HD. Also new keys were added. There were 6 in total, and you could also have had more colors at your disposal. In total, it has 300 grams. 1 year later, first Apple Watch were introduced, and when Apple introduced Agora, a new version Ruby HD was also introduced. It had 4.5 inches long display, but the text was readable. It again had 6 keys and 20 color regimes. In 2017, VR and XR is getting popular. Bitcoin was experiencing top. New Ruby HD was introduced. It has a special display and camera that was that could be pointed to any directions. A new key was added and also new color combinations. This year we will experience Apple glasses, more 5G network, and what you can see await from us is the new Ruby 10, which also has a 10 inches long display in HD that is also touchable, but don't be afraid because the basic keys remain there. It contains 3 cameras, one for reading, one for the distance, and a camera that can be foldable and scan paper to the size of A4. it has the functions Miracast, which allows sharing the picture to a different device, or you can play also sounds through Bluetooth. It is in 3 variants. One of them has Bluetooth. Ruby 10 is unique in that way that it has voice recognition system or voice output. So you can also let Ruby 10 read the text. I hope that Ruby 10 will find their users. You can also see our new Ruby as well as the older Rubies on our stall, but you can see there, for example, also Orcam, MyEye, or Blind Shell, or Braille Writer, Braille Reader, called Orbit Reader. Thank you for your attention, and I will be happy to meet you all at our stall. So I also thank to Dan. And after the blog dedicated to haptic, to tactile graphics and to assistive technology, we have here the last section, which is dedicated to an actual topic, which are barrier-free games. Now there is actually a lot of them, and today you can try out 2 of them. The first one, To the Dragon Cave, which is for mobile apps. It's by the studio Kikiriki Games, that will be introduced now, and after there will be a contribution by Lukáš Hosnidl about another game. So Jana, the word is yours.
Thanks for the floor. Radek, as Radek said, my name is Jana Kuklova, and I'm a co-founder of the barrier-free game development studio Kikiriki Games, and we are just releasing the first Czech audio shooter, To the Dragon Cave. That releases on the 15th of May, so not even in 24 hours, and I'm very glad that we were able to connect the release day to such a cool event as Agora is. I'm going to explain to you why we chose to release a shooter as our first title, but before that I would like to briefly introduce our game, To the Dragon Cave. It's the so-called first-person shooter, but we've developed an audio game, so we were probably so what does FPS mean, as you can call this genre as well, the short for the genre? When you play, you feel or perceive everything as though everything was around you or the playable character that you control, which means that you'll hear the sounds of approaching enemies all around you that are getting closer to you and trying to kill you and hurt you, and you can only turn left or right using swiping, and you have to defend yourself so that the enemies would not kill you. At the start of the game, you have 2 weapons to do that. You can shoot crossbow arrows, or you can swing around yourself wildly with a sword, but you have to think during the game that each of these weapons has its advantages and disadvantages. The sword is a fast weapon, but it only has a short range, so you can only use for close quarters fighting. The moment the enemies are right on your tail, so the enemies can also hurt you at the same time as you're swinging at them, and killing an enemy with a sword is relatively easy, so you'll be rewarded less for destroying the enemy in that way. On the other hand, killing the enemy with a crossbow is more difficult, so you'll get more gold coins for that, but the crossbow also has the disadvantages of being slower than the sword, so you have to always wait for it to recharge, sort of, or get rewound. And when firing the crossbow, you always have to think of the fact that the enemies who are farther away from you are much smaller, and it's more difficult to hit them. And that's why it's more difficult to hit the enemy with a crossbow in the game, and that's why you're rewarded with more gold coins for that. During the game, you also have to think or be aware that you can't just carelessly fire all around, because you only have a limited amount of arrows in your quiver, so you can't just fire everywhere, but you can replenish the arrows on the marketplace, or you can also buy healing potions there, or save the gold coins that you've received for other weapons or weapon upgrades. So To the Dragon Cave is not just about the fight itself, but it's also about careful strategy or careful thinking, careful behavior. To the Dragon Cave consists of two parts. In the first one, there's the storyline where during the story, you walk through 9 different environments. You meet 11 different kinds of enemies, and you'll be fighting 5 different bosses. And when you finish this story, the so-called endless battle will unlock for you. There's no more story there, but all the enemies available in the game will charge at you, and your goal is to survive for as long as possible. And the results from this endless battle can be compared with other players all over the world via global charts such as Game Center or Google Games. And you'll be able to try out this endless battle this afternoon in our gaming corner or gaming stall. But before we launch that, I'd like to answer that question from the introduction of my presentation for you, and that is why we chose a shooter and not a different genre. The reason is that when it was not even a year ago, when I was thinking along with my husband Milos about how happy we would be to be able to extend the availability of mobile audio games. So we considered all the options you can do when you only have sound available. We were thinking of small games, but also more complex ones. And one of the more complex ones was also an audio shooter. And that's what we chose to do at last. And you may be asking why we chose something like an audio shooter, but that's Milos who can see, whereas I can't. He's a delighted player, especially of shooters. So he was even asking himself if it's even possible at all to do a shooter without graphics. And when he put the question like that, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Why should it not be possible? Because I can imagine that there's a goblin charging at me and I have to defend it, defeat it only based on what I can hear. So we started working on it, but then we realized that Milos is probably the only sighted person around me who can imagine something like an audio shooter, because other people were telling us they can't even imagine how something like that would even work, how an audio shooter would work when you can't see it. So whenever I heard this objection from the sighted people, I was like, why should it not be possible? We, visually impaired people or blind people, do so many things without visual perception, and we don't think of it too much. So we were like, why should an audio shooter not be possible? But we also at the same time decided that we wanted to do the audio shooter in such a way that also sighted players could play it, because we wanted to prove or point out that if a sighted player or sighted member of society does things a little different than they're used to, interesting things can crop up, because we wanted to show that even from us blind people, something interesting can enrich the mainstream, perhaps by taking away the visuals from the sighted people and letting them shoot only using audio. And we had such a little nice experience, because not a long time ago there were professional players and people from the gaming field who were able to try out to the Dragon Cave, and the reaction was they had no clue there could be a game where they wouldn't see anything, but it would still entertain them as much as other gaming titles do. And we would like to, or our wish is for our audio shooter to the Dragon Cave to entertain both blind and sighted players, because what we believe in is that all of us live in a single world together where we inspire and enrich one another, and it's cool for the inspiration to come out from the direction of us blind people towards the sighted people as well. And I believe To the Dragon Cave can prove that, and I'd like to invite you to our gaming corner, where you can, as I said, try out the endless battle, and as well take part in our challenge for the best audio shooter of today. So that's in the gaming corner. Thanks for your attention, and have a nice Agora.
Tak, Janě moc.
So thank you, Jana. Can you please wait here for a short time? And also, Miloš, can you come here? I'm glad that Agora is not only an event where people meet, but that it's also an event to which different release dates are accumulated. So it's a signal for me that Agora is worth enough to plan the release of a game because of it. So I proposed that we could read the game. So first we wanted to do it with a champagne, but my
Tady máme starou, dobrou slováckou slivovici. Takže já bych poprosil jednak Irču, aby tady jak Milošovi, tak Janě dala po skleničce. Poprosím Pepu, kterému tady ten nápoj taky není cizí, aby byl ten, kdo přijde tady za náma a pokřtí tady tu hru. Pepo, poléváme teda jenom tady ten papír, jo? Jo, tak je to na tobě něco pěkného.
So it's up to you. Say something nice. What could I say? So I wish you that the game will entertain you and that the start will be successful not only for the game but also for your other projects. So thank you. So Peter knows what he's pouring at the game, so he is sparing. So we wish a lot of success to the game and to the authors. Cheers. Yes, thank you. Yeah. It's great. Miloš is happy, Slivovice, but I don't know what the flyer is experiencing. So, anyways, thank you for such a beautiful gesture. Yeah, I thank you too. The battle is yours. I believe that Lucas will also appreciate it, but anyway, the last presenter that will briefly introduce you the game. I don't remember the year, the name. Lukáš will say it definitely more accurately. It's called 1428 Shadows over Silesia. The presenter is Lukáš Hosnidl. Thank you. I also thank Radek for the introduction. It's, as Radek says, there's only a little time. There would be definitely a lot of things to say, but I'm happy that first I will tell you myself something briefly, and afterwards there will be a video. So our game is called 1428 Shadows over Silesia. And it happened that me with the author, Petr Kubíček, indie developer, took a different direction than Jana. And Petr Kubíček already was developing the game. And by coincidence, we got connected. So it's a regular computer game, but it's unique in that way that it's the second game ever in the history, the second video game, which will be also accessible to people with visual impairment. And it will be the first one for computers. The first one was in 2020, the Last of Us Part 2, which was only for PlayStations. So I am really glad that Peter sent me here to Agora to present his idea. For me, it's unbelievable that only one person was able to create a video game from scratch, including all activities, except for graphics from open source, from public sources. The whole, like the 90% of the game was created by himself. So, and he is really a hardcore indie developer, so it's amazing that he was able to create this adventure game and make it accessible for people with visual impairment. So I consider it as a big success. For those of you who are used to playing audio games, it could be quite different. Maybe it will be more enjoyable for people who have never played a game before, because the things work differently in audio game. But we don't have a lot of time, so for now I would like to thank you for your attention, and at the same time I would like to invite you to our gaming corner, where you will be able to try out our game. So if you have any questions to the game, or I forgot to mention, the game releases at 6th of September this year. But to return, I will shortly make a short advertisement for my blog. It's called 4 Cents Gaming, where I write articles, not really regularly right now, but I think it will get better. And this blog is dedicated to accessibility and gaming. So if you would like to know some more, find the blog or come to the Gaming's Corner in the afternoon. If I were a participant, I wouldn't be sure which game I should choose. So once again, thank you for your attention, and I would let the game introduce itself via video. It would be sad if we didn't let the video play now, even though we only have a little time.
It's the year 1428. Europe is in the throes of religious turmoil, with more than one preacher predicting the imminent end of the world. The Hussite campaign into Silesia has just begun, and heretics seem to be the greatest danger to the country without a king. But the real evil lurks somewhere else and has no plans to engage in religious disputes.
Hey look! Rosdorf is in sight now!
We're getting close.
However, the Hussite hetman Hynek has no clue about this yet. He and his men are just crossing the borders of Silesia, and he wouldn't think even for a second that instead of town conquering, he's going to get involved in a conspiracy which is being spearheaded by dark forces.
Brother Hynek, Brother Prokop sends a message that you should join him and the other commanders at the head of the army.
Tell him I'll be there shortly. Straw, you're in charge.
Of course. Go on.
Lothar, the Hospitaller Knight, is about to stand alongside the Crusaders against the Hussites.
Good luck, brother. Let God give strength to your soul.
He is not afraid of heretics. He fears only for his sister Anna, whom he left behind in the family castle.
And let's go. Hora Tertia has chimed. Onwards to Nisa. Yeah.
Hynek, the battle-hardened warrior who doesn't hesitate to reach for a bottle or a swear word. And Lothar, the young knight of faith, serving his ideals.
Oh, Brother Lothar, show those Hussites.
Can implacable enemies become the chosen ones who will face the inevitable destruction together?
Ego Hyperion Tenebris ad portum. I'm opening the gates to darkness. Damn it, he got inside. What now? I'll take care of it. We'll meet on the other side.
It's up to you to see if they can. You might be wondering, up to me? How could I ever pull something like that off? I can't see anything, you know? Do not sell yourself short, my friend. There are no heroes without courage. Remember the famous Bohemian King John of Luxembourg stormed into battle being totally blind while screaming, "Far be it that the King of Bohemia should run away!" Don't you run away either. You're about to solve difficult puzzles. Fight challenging battles.
They're bringing a battering ram.
Make important decisions.
The gate won't hold much longer. We have to get reinforcements or withdraw.
Leave him. Me go to the devil.
And stealthily sneak around dangerous enemies.
I have to be careful as hell so they don't spot me. I don't have any iron, and no clue how many of them might be around here.
Stop! Give up! Fucking bastard! How did you get out of the hole?
Become a hero. Raise a goblet filled to the rim together with Hynek, or humbly kneel down beside Lothar. Coming soon. Kubai Games proudly presents 1428, Shadows over Silesia. First ever action adventure of this scale to bring full native support for blind gamers. Complete narration of all in-game text.
March 11th, 1428, shortly past noon, not far from Arwersdorf in Silesia.
Special environment descriptions.
You're sitting in the saddle of your steed. You are on a forest path with a small river running beside it. There are woods all around. You are in a dark, dank cave. You can smell the rot all around you.
Navigation and advanced orientation tools.
Quest waypoint, custom waypoint 1. 5 fathoms to the destination. 39 fathoms to the destination.
A large number of audio cues.
Rob Ritter.
Optionally simplified mechanics, such as combat, stealth, or timed events. And plenty of other cool features. Enjoy a fully fledged adventure without compromises. Coming out September the 6th, 2022 on Steam. Find out more at blind.shadows1428.com.
So I believe we are not here in the cave, and that it's not smelling here. But anyway, with this contribution, the plenary session of this year's Agora ends. Before we move to the next program, in the room next door, there is a lunch prepared for you, and downstairs, and around an hour, the workshops start. In the meantime, you also have the opportunity to go through the exhibition section or to visit the gaming corner. As I already said in the beginning, I am really happy how big community evolved around Agora. And I think that my task here in Agora is to wish for anniversaries and as you probably know, during last 2 years, our 2 members of our visually impaired community had an important anniversary. So I would like to invite Zdeněk Beitel and Radek Seifert to the stage. so that we can wish him. I think it's not necessary to introduce them. I think that their contribution to the visually impaired community is really big. So come closer, come here. We want poor Slivovice at you. We already don't have it. But it also wouldn't be nice to do it, I think. So come here, Petr, Pepa Konečný and Petr Peňaz. Radek Seifert, Zdeněk Bajtl. So I wish you all the best and a lot of success with the work you do. So thank you. Hi, Peppa. I wasn't expecting it at all. I wish you a lot of health and success. Thank you for all you do. So thank you, Peppa. And now, Peppa, I have an opportunity to say that I consider those two people for my teachers. So I thank you for all that I was able to learn from you. So also thank you to Petr. Thank you for myself and for the whole team. Here you have a box of Agora candies. Thank you, and I also wish you a lot of success in the future and a lot of great ideas. So this is really all. Once again, thank you to all of you that you came. I hope that you learned a lot of interesting things. Enjoy the rest of the day. And for those of you who are registered for the dinner, I